blessed to feel blessed. You see, I want to live my life in the overflow. I want to have more than enough. Check this out. Well, it's time for me to start to elevate. Been down too long, time to graduate. Mount up my wings like an eagle, you see. Turn all my dreams to reality. Ain't nothing on this earth gonna hold me back from my heart desires. He promised that if I have faith, if I believe, faith the size of a mustard seed. I want to be blessed, to be a blessing. Prosperous life, no more stressing. That won't know me from the moon to the sun. He'll keep blessing me in every session. I got to do something with this life he give. His plan for me, that's what I wanna live. As long as I got God on my side, the hater just gonna have to let me fly. Yes, I
What
am.
in the overflow?
In the overflow.
What we gonna do when I what
Yes, I am.
in the overflow?
In the overflow.
I wanna be blessed when I come, blessed when I go. Don't you wanna live in the overflow? Y'all get loose. Y'all get loose. Get loose. Get loose, cause this thing gonna be hot today.
Yes, I am.
Get loose, cause it gonna get hot today, I'm telling you. There's gonna be some smoke today. What?
See, we got to speak that thing into existence. Because it gonna happen. You gotta believe it. In your heart, and in your mind, and in your soul. So you gotta.
All right. That's it, y'all. But now, y'all are now tuned into Overflow, the Everyday People Show, where people like who? Me and you get to come on and tackle these tough issues and what we call chopping it up. Y'all ready to chop this thing up today, y'all? So this is what I want y'all to do. I want y'all to share this with a friend, share it with a neighbor, share it with the family members, because y'all gonna learn something today. Y'all gonna learn today. Yeah, y'all gonna learn today. Okay, today's topic, y'all, we're gonna talk about something that a lot of people don't really like to talk about. A lot of people don't like to talk about this issue, man, but we gotta do it. We gotta talk about systemic racism. Hey, it's happening. Hey, a lot of people know it, a lot of people don't. So without further ado, I'm gonna bring in my two co-hosts first. I'm gonna bring in my boy. I see him trying to advertise a homeboy stuff. Charisma. So homeboy.
Yes, sir. I'm in.
And I'm gonna bring in my other co-host, man. I'm gonna bring another co-host, man. He didn't show up last week, so I gotta dock his pay. You know what I'm saying?
Dock his pay.
My boy Furquan, better known as Jay Fitz, up in this B.I. Ooh, don't make me say that. I can't say that live. Okay.
Jay.
What's up, fella? What's going on, man?
What up, fellas?
Oh, I'm good.
Y'all already talk about this systemic racism, man. What's going on with it, man? What's going on? Hey, y'all got something to say before we get this thing started, man?
Do you say you asked me? Do I have anything?
Hold on. I know this man. Hey, I didn't reach your hat good, brother. I'm finna cut you off. I'm finna cut you off, man.
Systemic racism.
Let me put my hat on. That's what I'm gonna do. This what we gotta do. This the real hat right here.
Yeah,
this the real hat right here.
I like that one.
Yeah, this the real hat right here.
Yeah.
See, if we do this right here, everything gonna be all right. And if we do it for real. You know what I'm saying? But hey, what y'all boy got to say, man?
All I'm gonna say to your hat, Rob, is
I guess I'll let Jerome
say so.
I can't hear him. Jerome got to fix your system.
I hear you a little bit. You kind of like foggy a little bit, man. You know.
Yeah, he foggy. Yeah.
You must switch to Comcast.
He'll be back in. We always have these technical problems, which we got to get rid of.
Hey, let me bring the other guests on in, man. I got my boy, man, my high school, my book in, You know what I'm saying? We play football together, man. The boy used to go get your boy in practice, man. My boy, real tailgaters, Mike Hall. What's up, dog?
What's up? What's up, folks? What's up, man?
My
What
boy,
it do? What it do?
That's the
Can
real
We
dog.
we got a lot. We got a lot of guests. We got a lot of guests today, man. Hey, y'all make sure y'all share this thing to y'all folks too, man.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I share it. You know, I share mine.
I'm gonna bring that boy Jermaine in. What's up, Jermaine? What's going on, big dog?
Yo, what's going on, fellas? What's happening?
Y'all ready to do this, man?
Hey, what's going on? I see the hat. I see you rocking the hat.
Yeah.
I thought it was a Make America Great hat, Trump hat, man. You know, I banned those hats.
He's using systemic racism towards me.
But we got somebody on the show who might challenge me, man, about this Trump thing. I'm gonna bring the girl Ashley. What's up, Ashley?
Ashley.
Welcome back.
Hi.
See, Ashley, you the one made me want to do this show today.
Huh?
I'm gonna bring my boy Jay Fit back in. You the one made me want to. You the one gave me the topic for you. You actually gave me this topic for the day because last week you kind of said it don't exist as much as you thought that people think it is. But,
For real?
And I had to do some research on it because I didn't really want to. You was a new guest. I didn't want to come at you too hard. You know what I'm saying? But I got some. You see, Jay Fish ready to chop at the bit at you.
No, I ain't. I just find it hilarious. That's cool. I mean, it's funny as hell.
But what did I say?
Say it again.
I think you said something about systemic. We were talking about systemic racism, and you said it don't. As I can recall, you said it don't exist as much as people think it does. And I had to take a step back. I had to do a little research, and you know what I'm saying, before I come back at you because you caught me off guard with that one. You was a new guest. You know what I'm saying?
I think a better way to phrase it is that we've come further than maybe most people might realize. Or maybe not most people, but some people.
I think as far as optics we have, but as far as behind the scene, that's where the systemic racism come in. At a lot of strings being pulled behind the scenes that I don't think you are aware of. No, but I'm gonna let y'all chop it up a little bit, man. Y'all got anything to say about it before? Because I got this video about I'm gonna talk about the 1916 project that they are teaching. They're actually teaching this up north already, and it's I'm gonna show y'all the video about this lady Nicole Hannah Jones. She's kind of like orchestrating it with the New York Times, and they have actually implemented it into their school curriculum up north. We haven't gotten it down here yet, and I think it's going to be. I think it's what we really need. But you got a lot of senators already fighting against it because they don't want the truth about America to be known. We talk to their kids, so I don't think they mind us teaching our kids, but they don't want their kids to know about this. So, what y'all think? What's systemic racism to you, man? Black man, charisma. You go first, man. What they mean to you, man?
Well, systemic racism is nothing but a form of embedded. It's like a form of embedded, like I'm trying to let me put this the right way. I don't want to. Let me put this the right way. It's just a form of embedded. It's a form of embedded in normal practice due to like a non.
Are you trying to go soft on Ashley, man?
No, it's I'm trying to put it where it's Ashley, an organization that we're not a part of, but people can they curve it where we can't be a part of it. They got other facets of and ways of saying, well, we're not really being racist, but you still can't be a part of this agenda. But it's kind of like a straddling fence situation. But we deal with systemic racism a lot, all the time, even with the law enforcement, jobs, politics, and school. Just even trying to buy a car.
Let me do this. Let me put up the definition of systemic racism itself. Hold on, I gotta get this right. Gotta get this right. But anyway,
Yeah.
the next guy, hey, the next person going with what you gotta say. I gotta pull it up, man. Who want to tackle that before we move on? Y'all, anybody got want to say something say about that, Mike?
Hey, I got. I'm gonna let you guys go ahead. Go ahead. I'm gonna be the last one. I got something to say. I might. You might not agree with what I gotta say.
I mean, I'm not here to agree with you.
Well,
that's why the everyday people
you might not like what I got to say. I just want everybody to go ahead and voice their opinion about systemic racism. Go ahead and voice your opinion about what you think.
Go ahead, Fitz. What's your definition of?
It's not even about a definition. It's a way of life in America.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about it, it's not even about being a way of life in America. It's a way of life in the world. And it's sad that it's like that, especially now. But the proof, you can see it. If you look at speeches from our civil rights leaders from back in the day, whether it's Stokely Carmichael, anybody from the Black Panthers, Malcolm X, Dr. King, whoever, they saying shit that still applies to today as far as racism. And it's comical that anybody, whoever it is, can say, "Oh, we've come a long way." No, we haven't. This motherfucker's still getting lynched. So motherfucker's still getting lynched. How far have we come? I mean, once again, it's a way of life. It's just sad that we, as Nubian people, we have to deal with it, and we're used to it. And then when certain things are on TV and people see it, they so surprised. We're not at all, because we've been dealing with it forever. It's funny to even just think about back in the day with that big ass block of welfare cheese. That big ass block of welfare cheese. Who was standing in line? It's usually us. It wasn't the people that saying racism doesn't exist, because they never had to deal with certain stuff like that. Certain people have never gotten pulled over by the cops and the guns drawn before they even say your name. That's normal to me. Nothing new. I ain't never had no knee on my neck, because if I had a knee on my neck, I'm gonna die quick. I'm fucking somebody up. It's not going down like that. Like, damn all that. But it's just to play on that topic. I find it comical when I hear people say, "Well, you can be a person of color and you can be racist." Really? That's impossible, because we don't own shit. We can't stop shit from happening. That's where racism. Now, can one of us be a bigot or prejudiced? Yes. It is impossible for any of us to be racist. It's a proven fact, because we can't stop nobody from doing shit in this country. Point blank, period, end of story.
I've had systemic racism drawn towards me from police officers. They kind of pushed me around because I live in a high drug area. When I, being from Bankhead, like where we're from, Rob, they kind of jumped on me and suspected that I had guns and drugs, and all I was doing was walking to one of my friends' house, and they really wanted to book me too. And I don't even have a record, and they tried to take me to jail for just nothing. That happened to me twice. That was a form of systemic racism to me. I felt raped, ashamed. I felt violated. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't fight the cops back. So I just did the right thing, talk to another APD, another officer, got their number to their precinct and called their main chief or officer or their boss or whatever, and went through it that way. But it was kind of sad. I felt bad. It was a real bad day.
All right, Ashley, what you got on the Ashley? I know you Caucasian woman, and I think it's kind of uncomfortable to talk about it.
No, it ain't. Hell no, it ain't.
Hey,
but you're not her. What I'm trying to say, you're not her. You know what I'm saying?
Let me say.
Just let her talk first.
I wanted to touch on one thing. I'm sorry, I don't know your name in the blue shirt.
Jerome.
what you said just now about Drum, about ownership, racism, because you don't own anything. And I understand what you're saying, but I don't think racism really has to do with ownership per se. I mean, the term. So maybe there's another term that you want to associate that with.
Nah, I'm not. I'm gonna say this to you. Look up the difference between racism, prejudice, and bigot, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And I can send you a video that explains exactly why we cannot be racist. It's impossible. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because language and verbiage means a lot, especially on a topic like this.
Well, let me ask you, like, if there is a group of Asians, you know, that approached you or something, and I don't know, whatever rhyme and reason, would you maybe treat them or act differently?
If I did, I would be prejudiced or a bigot against them. What you got to understand as far as racism is this: racism means I'm a person, and I can block off something from you doing due to the power that I have, which is what white supremacy is. I can't stop nobody. Anybody who's one of us, a Nubian person, we can't stop nobody from getting a job. We can't stop anybody from going into a hospital. It is impossible because we don't have that power. Your ancestors can. Our ancestors can't. Not in America. You can't do it.
So what he's basically saying, Ashley, is that racism is basically you can deny someone access to resources or opportunities. So as Black people in America, or melanated people, whatever you want to call yourself, colored people, people of color, whatever you want to call yourself, we don't have access. We don't own anything to deny someone access to opportunities or resources. If you wanted to go buy a house in my neighborhood, I can't stop you from doing that. If you want to get a job at a place where I work at, I can't stop you from doing that. But on the flip side of that, a white man, sure, if he sees me, sure, and he sees another white man and say, oh, well, I'm gonna give this job to this white man versus this Black man that has the same qualifications, same educational background, that will be considered racism because he's denying me access to resources and opportunities. That's what racism implies, where you're talking about power.
Sure, and ownership. That's absolutely another form might be where you might have an Asian store owner who sees an African American walk into that store, and that person, the patron, is perhaps, Lord knows what they're doing, you know, but the store owner might think that this actually happened in 1993. The store owner, I guess, you know, from her point of view, she thought she was shoplifting. I think it was at one point, you know, where the customer was at the counter and she was going to leave. This was in Los Angeles, and the store owner basically shot her in the back. I know you want to call that prejudice, prejudicism,
and that's where a lot of people get racism and prejudice confused. And that's why I always correct people when they say, oh, well, that person's racist. Well, there's a difference between being racist there's a difference between racist and prejudice. In that instance you're describing, that person was prejudiced against that Asian person, or Chinese person was prejudiced against that Black person because of the stereotypes that have been put through mainstream media and whatever to that Black people shoplift.
Right, so but all I'm saying is that the prejudice aspect is only that that sort of results in that individual possibly becoming a racist. That's the point of view that I'm trying to get at. That the person just judged the store owner judged the customer basically by their cover. To me, that's racism.
I think racism is just when one race think they're just superior than the other one. It's nothing else. I'm better than you. You are inferior to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's how this country was built.
Well, that's actually called white supremacy. That's actually called white supremacy, though. That's a system of white supremacy where I think my race is superior to yours. That's what this country was built off of. White supremacy.
But what we was talking about systemic racism. This is the definition itself. Systemic racism, institutional racism, also known as systemic racism, a form of racism that is embedded as normal practice within society or an organization. It can be led to such issues as discrimination in criminal justice, unemployment, housing, healthcare, political power, education, among others. And we lacking in black folk is
all of them.
All of that. You know what I'm saying? So
and that's all I'm saying is that they, the different words, you have the different words, but they all tie in together. That's what I was saying.
But you want to get your number before I
say something.
Go ahead, Mike. You finish it off then, since you got something hot. Chop it up, Mike.
Let me just say this: systemic racism has been around since day one. You know what I'm saying? Since day one. Let's be for real. Now, here's my thing, and I agree with you, Ashley. All that shit the same. I agree with you saying. Y'all can say what you want. I know, and I know you saying you can only be racism if you have power and stop somebody from accessing a job or political stuff. But you got I ain't gonna say the name, because if I say the name, I'll be in trouble like the wilding out person. But all of them have power to stop everybody from doing it. You even got power.
Mike ain't that big yet, man. You can see it.
Look, I ain't gonna say it. I'm retired and I ain't got no strings attached. I get a check every month. You know what I'm saying? My check guaranteed for life, but I'm good. And I'm just saying like this: you have every race that's racism. You got some people that hate the other color and have power and don't let them in. You see what I'm saying? Now, we're a matter of opinion. I understand that. We all have opinion. Now, look. Now, my thing is, we all of us know what's going on. But all your leaders, all your so-called leaders you put in place, and you tell me we still have systemic racism? All these big old mayors y'all don't put in place, all these beautiful Congress members, legislation, and you still telling me you having a problem with systemic racism? You put them there. They vote on where the money go. They vote on what school get the funding.
Mike, how many black senators do we have? How many black senators do we have?
We got more than one.
If you can name them on one hand, that's not enough. That means we have no power in the Senate. We have no power in Congress.
Let me finish my point.
It's not enough for us to vote for what we want to vote for.
Well, stop concentrating. Stop concentrating on the president and all these mayors that can't do shit. Concentrate on who make the law, who write the law and get the other sucker to sign off on it. See, all the systemic racism, you can stop it. We chasing the tail. We chasing the tail, barking. We're not doing anything.
Let me tell you. Listen to this, Mike. They are just mayors. What did Mayor Bottom do? She tried to put a mass ordinance in, right? And what happened to her? What happened to her? Somebody came behind her and said, you can't do that. Why? Why did you do that?
You're not paying attention to what I'm saying. Your Mayor Bottom and the rest of them have no power. You don't know who to elect when they select. See, they select, and you dummies walking around electing like they told me to vote on this person. Mm-hmm. See, we need to put you, if you're worried about systemic racism, put people in power. They're gonna make sure the funds go the right place. Stop trying to bust down some walls that they don't want you at and fix your own place up. You're gonna run around barking and burning down places that you don't even stay at. Build your own place up. Put your money. You got all this money. All these colorful people got money and run off with it. Go bark at them to put back into and build you up. Stop running out to everybody else stuff. I'm just saying. Man. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Mike, check it out. You, like you said, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but what you just said goes back to the point that me, Charisma, and Jermaine were talking about. I'm gonna give you the greatest example. We had our own Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ain't bothering nobody. We had our own shit, right? To show you the power we don't have, they bombed the motherfucker. They bombed it. We don't have no bombs. We don't have that. That's the type of power we don't have. Anytime one of us has success and goes against the grain, what happens? They disappear. Great example, Bill Cosby. Multiple times, he's gone. It's anytime we have success, if we go against their agenda, now something pops up. Sex allegation, drugs, suicide. That's what I'm like. I'm not going to knock what you're saying, but it goes back to we have absolutely no power. We can control our shit. You're absolutely right. But on a whole, we ain't got shit. That's the problem.
I don't agree.
Okay. So tell me right now, on a whole, us, our people, what we own in America? What we got power over?
You have spending power. You spend over $2 trillion a year.
Nope.
You have spending strike.
That's too. No, that's broad. What do we own? What do we own?
Listen to me. You own.
Mike, spending power, all we doing is giving it back, Mike. That's the only thing spending power do, Mike.
You're missing the whole point. You're missing the whole point. All right. Just like he just said. He just said we can take our own. We're not, you're killing your own. You won't even turn in a guy who killed I know I'm mixing up, but look, this is what I'm saying. Systemic racism is the only thing this stuff doing is just splitting us apart. And we fight all this battle when we need to be fighting another
Mike, we never was together. We never was together, Mike. That's what systemic racism is. They cut out all the visible racism and hid it in systemic racism. They got systems set up to still hold you back.
Listen to me.
I just read the definition, Mike.
Listen to me. I heard you read it,
and we last in every category.
I'm pretty sure I comprehend what you read. But what I'm saying is, systemic racism is putting more money in other places than yours.
Let me give you. Let me give
resources in other places. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
Systemic racism is putting more money in other places than yours. Allow other people to go to these scholar schools in your neighborhood. All right, keeping you in a bubble. That's what it is. Then when one of y'all get out the bubble, which some people do get out the bubble, you do nothing for everybody else that's in the bubble. So you always separate. I'm trying to teach separation is going to keep systemic racism in there. We got to do from the inside out. It's like when you get out, man, pull somebody else with you. Pull and then start pulling. We get our will, man. Forget them. I ain't worried about them.
I don't think you understand what systemic racism is.
I just gave you the definition.
Mike, let me say this to you. Let me say this one thing to you. I'm gonna get me some water and I'm gonna shut the fuck up for a second. Here's the whole thing. What you're saying is right, but here's the thing. The reason we don't have any power is because of divide and conquer. We are the ones that are separating based on what they've done. Now talk about on a whole. We got 5 of us right now. We good. We can build. But what happens when it's 5 million? The reason why it's not going to be 5 million is because they implant shit. They start implanting motherfuckers to break the shit down. And unfortunately, our natural thing is to embrace and love. That's normal for us to embrace and love. But what do? They implant shit to separate that because they know that love conquers all. So unfortunately, we allow bullshit to come in fucking agents and all that shit. That's how Dr. King got his head blown off. That's how Malcolm X got fucked up. And it's always like that.
Let me say this. You absolutely infiltrate. They infiltrate and look like you. I understand that. But we shouldn't be so greedy. They know how to stay together. Those same who set up everything know how to stay together, and fight together. We run and scatter. Now, I want to know one other thing. The host of the show, Mr. Stafford, why you got your logo in my face over here?
I see you. Everybody see you.
I know you got your logo.
Just lean a little bit, man. Okay.
You need to put your logo in your face.
Hey, but Mike, here's what I think. I think you really missing the whole point. You just say how they stay together. Hell, they got every damn thing. Everything I just read off, they leading in everything, leading all of that. You know why? Because they had a 400 years.
Let me say
400 years of free labor.
Let me
200. How many years it was? I forgot how many years it was. They built this nation off our backs.
Let me give you a quick story. Quick. I grew up in the projects. I grew up eating the cheese. I figured out the way to learn the system. I got out the project. I never been on welfare. I retired at 50 years old. All right, without a college degree. All right. Now check this out. Two small business, doing good. I don't go out. My workers go out. See, you got to know the system and work the system. A lot of people want to break the system and beat the system. But I'm gonna leave that alone. Go ahead. Systemic racism. Go ahead.
I see we got another Ashley right here. Ashley, well, I see we got a black Ashley.
No. Hey, real tailgaters. One call, Mike Hall. Real tailgaters.
What you got? We talking about systemic racism, Ashley.
I think systemic racism start like even when we start going to school. If you think about it, just like Mike was saying, I think his name Mike. This his name. Gray t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How you doing? Hey, Ashley.
Hey, I'm Lamar, daughter. Okay. So.
Oh.
Yeah. Systemic racism started at the very beginning. Just like you were saying, you grew up in the projects. If you think about it, if you take the suburbs and you take the projects, our property taxes are lower than the suburbs, correct? So our property taxes funds the schools. So if we have very little property tax, then our schools are not going to be funded. Then you have people that lives in the suburbs, their property tax is more expensive, so their property tax is going to fund their schools already. So their schools are automatically better than the schools that's in the projects, right? So majority of people that live in the projects are basically low income, and when you have low income, and it's bad to say it, but we have African American people. So that's where it all starts at. So our schools are already being funded by our property taxes, which our property taxes are very low. So that's a good enough funding for our school. So it already put us in the back. So they already 10 steps ahead of us. So we gotta start buying.
They 200 years ahead, 400 years ahead of us.
Yeah, but if we stay on them being 200 and 400 years ahead of us, we'll never get ahead. We always say that African Americans built this nation. Okay, if we built this nation, that means that we had a black president, we had this, we had that, and the other. So if we built the nation, that means we can continue building and we can make it ours. But if we continue to keep on saying stuff about systemic racism, and yes, it's true, but if we build on top of systemic racism and get from where we was before, then we can get further. But as long as we have this conversation right here, no, we don't forget about it, but we want to push forward. We always can say that we built this nation. Yeah, we built it, but we still at the bottom.
I'm sorry.
If our ancestors can build this nation, that means we should be even better than our ancestors and take it to even farther than what it need to be.
Robert,
let your man get something in, man.
Let block in. Send block an invite.
Okay.
Send block invite.
I get Ashley. I get what you're saying about and I agree. We have to we have to stop.
Which Ashley you talking about? It's two Ashley.
The Ashley that just spoke.
Black Ashley, white Ashley.
The Nubian Ashley. How about that? Yeah, I agree with you. We have to, at some point, we have to have accountability for what's going on now. But I do believe that, it needs to be an address and an admission and an atonement of what happened. It's just like a relationship. African American, Black people, people of color have been in an abusive relationship with America since its inception. We've been in an abusive relationship, and everything we've been doing is sweeping everything under the rug. Just like in a relationship, every little problem we sweep under the rug. Oh, it's gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right. But guess what? At some point, it's gonna be a big ass pile under that rug, and so at some point, we're gonna have to address it. We're gonna have to address this big pile in the middle of our living room, and this is what's happening now. And America does not want to address and admit they're wrong for what they have done to us and systemically holding us back. We have to address that. We can't say, yeah, we got to get over that. It happened a long time ago and we got to get over that. But because it rears its head every time we make steps forward. It rears its head. Just like Jerome said, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after we supposedly got freed, we had our own businesses, we had banks, we had hospitals, we had everything. And what did they do? They came in and they bombed us. Not just Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had Philadelphia. You had Greensboro, North Carolina. Right here where I'm at, North Augusta, South Carolina, was called Hamburg. They had a civil unrest because Black people had their own. So every time we try to get our own, it's something about America that's saying, no, we don't want y'all to have y'all own, and we're gonna knock y'all back down. So that's what we're fighting against. So I'm not saying that you're wrong in what you're saying. I agree that we have to be accountable for what's going on today, but it has to be an atonement of what has happened in our past. That has to be addressed.
No, it definitely need to be said. But my thing is that I feel like us as African Americans, we get so bent on what did happen. And believe me, I'm probably the most pro-Black female that you'll ever speak to. But my whole thing is about winning. I've always been taught that to win, you do better. You come out better. You come out on top. And if we can come out on top, and having Obama as the president, that was not on top. When we can start, we had Tulsa, Oklahoma, but that was at a time where they really didn't want us to have it. So they were able to do what they did to Tulsa, Oklahoma. But if we build that again, if we start buying properties, if we start buying real estate and building what they had in Tulsa, Oklahoma, there's no way that they can take away from us.
But Ashley, But Ashley, I agree with you, but I'm gonna tell you this, and this may be hard for a lot of Black people to hear, but we don't really fuck with each other like that, and that's just the honest truth. You got people, you got people that probably got businesses. You may have a business. Bet your best friends don't even buy from you. They won't even support you. What you're saying is correct. We have to build our own and be together, but we don't really fuck with each other like that. And that's something we have to address too.
I agree with that completely. Hey everybody, how you doing? I'm Carl.
Mike,
how's everybody doing?
What up, fam?
Hey, what's happening?
Mike,
Listen.
you about to say something?
Go ahead,
Block. Go ahead, Block.
Let the new guy talk, man.
Go ahead.
Hey. So I agree with all points. One of the biggest things we do have to work on is unity. Education being one of the biggest things that even unite us. We're conditioned to be separate. We're divided in this country by so many different things: religion, politics, even where you go to school at is a divisible thing. And at some given point, we are going to have to start. And this starts today, regardless of what you think should happen. All that happens once we unite and come together under a common goal. We have to get together and strategize. That's one of the biggest things we always react to. We're never developing the master plan. We never charge anybody with putting an agenda together that we should follow and all abide by. At some given point, as people, not just Black people, there needs to be reparation of the mind, heart, and soul. So there is something that's due to black people right now that we're not even requesting or asking for. Well, let me correct that. There are some people that are asking for it. We're just not getting on board with it. And
because
again, that's
they
the
got
reason. That's the reason why it's so much unrest now. It's coming to fruition. When you can kill a black man in the street disproportionately more than you kill white people on TV for all to see. And then, as your hiring practices, if you systemically giving lower income jobs, and also, young lady, when you start talking about the banking industry, when you go through the banking and loan industry, you're scrutinized more than whites.
I will say there's more white people killed than black people in America.
Not.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Proportional.
I ain't talking about the portion. I'm talking about as far as the numbers. There's more white people killed than black people.
That's only because we outnumbered. That's only because we outnumbered.
I know, but I just want to put that on record. Like, it's more white people killed by cops than it is black people. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead,
Mike. That's not the truth. That's not the truth. Because if you calculate the number and did the proportion,
it's true. But Mike's not factoring in the population. He's not factoring in the population.
I'm not factoring in like
the percentage is way higher for blacks, Mike, than it is for whites.
Yeah, we're only 13% of the population.
I understand that, but it's more white people killed. I understand disproportionate, but I'm just saying as far as
there's still more white people killed per year. It doesn't matter if there's 13%.
It does matter.
Right.
It does matter. If you got 10 apples and I got 5 apples, and somebody take 5 apples from me and 5 apples from you, who got apples? You still got apples.
I don't eat apples.
That's not the same analogy.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not agreeing with it's 5. Listen to me. I understand you saying 13.
It's mathematics, man.
So when we start talking about the type of crimes and also how they're killed, then that becomes a factor as well. The whites killed the way that they were killed versus how blacks were killed. That becomes an issue too, and a statistic. But when you blanket it and say whites were killed more than blacks, then yeah, I agree with you on that number. But disproportionately, how they were killed and the numbers of the population makes it wrong.
Yeah, no, Block. I know, no, Block. I was just saying about police.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about by police. And when you use that blanketed statement, most of our politicians use that as a blanketed statement to get us off the point.
Yeah, but no, I would go ahead.
There we go. They do.
But look,
can I address something that Ashley said? That the Nubian Ashley said. I totally agree with what you said about us building our own and everything like that. But the difference has to be from Tulsa. We can't put it in our locations. Let's just say the government said, for our wrongs, we're going to give all the Nubian people in America, Texas. You can have the entire state. I wouldn't want it because they could just bomb that shit once we do what we want to do. We need to build our own where we are because they're not going to bomb downtown Atlanta. They're not going to bomb Buckhead. They're not going to bomb wherever the money is. They're not going to do it. But we can't. That's the shift we have to make. We can't do it in our areas because they're going to figure out a way to shut it down without question.
Exactly.
Okay, y'all. Look, check this out, y'all. Go ahead, finish up. Finish up, Ash.
I'm just gonna piggyback off of that just a little bit. I totally understand. I don't know what his name is. I can't see, but I totally understand that. Yeah, I totally understand that because that just goes back to me. And I know I have a very odd way of thinking, but I feel like once you tell me you want me to go somewhere, I want to go the opposite because you want me to go there for a specific reason. So I want to go where you don't want me to go and figure out why you don't want me to go there. You understand what I'm saying? I want to become what you don't want me to become. So if you're telling me to go somewhere, that's because you want to continue to have a hold on me. And that's what we get out of. If you can't continue to have a hold on me if I go where you don't want me to go. So I totally 100% agree with you.
Okay, y'all. I'm gonna shift gears a little bit, y'all. As I was saying about this, the 1916 project that they're trying to implement into the curriculum, they already implemented up north. I'm just gonna play a little bit of this lady right here is Let me see. Let me cue it up for a second. This lady right here she's one of the driving force behind. Her name is Nicole Hannah Jones of the New York Times. Let me play a little bit of her talking about what it is.
$16.19. Okay.
You ain't put the sound in there. You go back and put the sound in. Click the bottom the bottom you're gonna have to reverse it. You gotta reverse it, go back in.
I got you.
Yeah, click the bottom button every time. The bottom box.
Let me pause her.
Hey, but look, Block, what's up, baby?
What up, bro?
Man,
how you?
No good, man. Got me on here with football player here, Robert Stafford, Mr. Bankhead, Mr. AKA Old Town Road.
What's up, Staff?
What's going on with you, boy?
Hey, Ashley. Hey, Jermaine.
Hey,
hey, what's your name, bro? What's that, Charisma?
Charisma.
What's up, bro?
Yes,
what's going on? How y'all doing?
Hey,
I said hello to you too. How you doing, Ashley?
Okay, y'all. I got it ready now, y'all. All right, here we go.
He's the recipient of an honorary degree from Xavier University and a lifetime achievement from Columbia University. He is one of the most profound and tenacious journalists that I get to work with, and one of the most remarkable people that I'm lucky enough to know. Please help me welcome the one and only Nicole Hannah Jones.
This is about the 1619 project. Let's do this for a couple of minutes.
5 times last week, and I'm just trying to get through this without crying. So thank you. Thank you for that. What if I told you that the year 1619 is as important to the American story as the year 1776? What if I told you that America is a country born of both an idea and a lie? I've been obsessed with the year 1619 since I first saw that date on page 29 of a landmark book called Before the Mayflower. I was a high school student and I was taking my first Black Studies class. And I read these words by historian Lerone Bennett, where he describes the White Lion, which is the ship, of course, that brings that first group of enslaved Africans to Virginia. And he says of that ship, what seems unusual today is that no one sensed how extraordinary she really was. For few ships, before or since, have unloaded a more momentous cargo. Now my script is out of order.
But this curriculum they implement in schools.
Like most Americans, I was taught very little about the institution of slavery. It, of course, explained the American presence of my family and all the Black people I knew and saw. But like most Americans, slavery was largely taught to me as something that was marginal to the American story. Slavery had to be mentioned in our history books because we had to talk about the Civil War. But outside of that, it was just a brief discussion that relegated slavery largely to the backward South and assured us as a nation that slavery had little to do with how our country developed. I studied Black Studies in college, and I've been thinking about the anniversary of 1619 pretty obsessively for the last few years. I knew that this was going to be an anniversary that was going to pass in most households without any notice, that most Americans would actually have no idea that there was even an anniversary that we should be acknowledging at all. But they should know this. And I believed that powerfully, because this anniversary is the reason we even exist as a country. We would not be a country, we would not be the United States were it not for slavery. When we think about the sheer wealth that the forced labor of those who were forced to come here from the continent of Africa produced for the colonies, it was this labor that made these struggling colonies wealthy. It was this labor that allowed these founding fathers to have both the wealth and the moxie to believe that they could break off from the most powerful empire in the history of the world, one of them, but certainly the most powerful empire at the time, and start their own country. We know that the enslaved grew and picked more cotton than anywhere else in the world at the time, supplying 66% of the world's supply. It was the money and the from the enslaved labor that paid off our war debts after the Revolutionary War, that financed some of our most prestigious universities, that helped fuel the Industrial Revolution. It was enslaved people who built and laid the railroad tracks that crisscrossed the South. At one time, the second richest man in the country was a Rhode Island slave trader who never had to own a single human being, but made millions of dollars transporting them across the Middle Passage. Here in New York, Wall Street was named Wall Street because that was the wall upon which enslaved people were bought and sold. And the very reason we are the financial capital of the world is because it is there that systems of banking and insurance and learning to collateralize rise up around the insuring and the collateralizing and the mortgaging of Black human beings. But much more important than the material wealth that enslaved people created for this country, what we're here to argue tonight is that we did something much less understood, but much more important. And that is that Black people have played one of the most vital roles as the perfecters of this democracy. Because you see, when the country's founding documents were written by enslavers, they were false. When a man by the name of Thomas Jefferson wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." These are some of the most famous words in the English language. But as he wrote these words, he owned 130 human beings who would enjoy none of those rights. At that time, 1/5 of this country lived in absolute bondage. We were founded not as a democracy, but as a slaveocracy, a country run and ruled by slave owners. If this feels uncomfortable, simply imagine the truth that 10 of our first presidents trafficked in human beings and worked them on forced labor camps. But while the founders set up a decidedly undemocratic constitution that denied the franchise to the majority of its citizens, to women, to Native people, and to Black people, and also deprived absolute rights of 1/5 of the population, Black people actually believed and took those words literally. Black people responded to their enslavement by demanding and fighting not just for their own rights, but for universal rights. They believed those words that our founders did not. And from the moment when Crispus Attucks, a man who himself was not free, who was a fugitive from slavery, died for the freedom of this new nation, all the way to now when we see the Black Lives Matter protests, then we must acknowledge that it is Black people who have fought more than any other group to make the ideals laid out in the Constitution a reality. At the end of slavery, it is Black people who had been deprived by law of the right to read and to write, who bring public education to the South.
Couple more seconds, y'all.
Amendments that end slavery. We are the third to the last country in the Americas to end slavery. We were not exceptional at all when it came to that. It is Black people who pushed for the amendments that provided equal protection under the law and granted citizenship to everyone.
Okay, y'all. So this is what they are about to implement into the curriculum in schools all over America, Black schools and white schools. But like I say, now check this out. This systemic racism. Here it comes. Here comes systemic racism. Because watch this guy right here. Watch this guy right here, y'all. He's fighting against it. See, this is what we call systemic racism. Senator Tom Cotton described slavery as a necessary evil and bid to keep schools from keeping 1619 project. So he's fighting to keep it out of the system. He's fighting to keep it away from his kids. So this is exactly what systemic racism is. The system is fighting against us. So are y'all down with that the 1916 project being taught in schools all over America?
Why do you keep saying 1916?
1619.
Well, I say 1619. Hey, thank you for the correction, man.
We know what you meant. I mean, I think, and I don't want to jump in front of nobody. But I think it's a good thing. But I always have to question myself when they start to try to push something so heavily. I always want to ask myself why all of a sudden now? Because if you look across the world, Germany taught their kids about everything. They taught their kids about the Holocaust. They taught everything over there. They no holds barred. Our country held all this stuff. Now, just imagine if you were a white kid growing up from elementary school on up, because it may be an anomaly. It may be some kids that got taught something differently, but for the most part, they were taught that everything was white. White did this. White was great. So I can't fault and be mad at a white person for thinking they're great, because that's all they know. That's all they were taught. Just imagine if they were taught something different. If they were taught that Black people were great too, that Black people, all the majority of the inventions that came into this country were invented by Black people, and they were taken by white people. Just imagine the diversity of education that a white kid would have gotten if they would have known this education as an elementary kid, versus you trying to learn it as a 40, 50-year-old, and you already got your ideals set in your mind. So is that going to change your ideals by knowing about the 1619 project?
That's a good point. Anybody? Go ahead, Ashley.
I was just gonna say I knew a lot of that stuff early on.
Right. And you're an anomaly. You're an anomaly.
I mean, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I do believe that, like, in a sense, either where you're brought up, among other things.
And Jermaine, I think the video was, I hope y'all go check it out. You know, it's on YouTube. The lady actually alluded to that, what you just said. She talked about that too. You know, but I didn't want to wait to that point.
Well, Rob, what were the other high points of the 1619 project? Was it just to get people to realize that slavery happened, or everything that led from slavery up to this point? Is that
to put the truth out there instead of a lie? Well, we were taught a lie all our lives. They was taught a lie all their lives, and it's time for the truth. The truth will set you free. The truth will set you free.
Well, Rob, I know. We were taught about slavery. We were taught about Christopher Columbus. No.
That was a lie. Christopher Columbus did not discover America. You can't discover something that's somebody already here. You can't do that.
No. I agree, but my point is, what I was asking was, does the 1619 project seek to talk about all the points associated with
only thing the 1619 project is trying to do to get people mind to thinking, get people to thinking that we have been lied to. Why was we lied to? Why was they lied to?
Well, I agree with you on that point. I agree with the fact that people need to understand that there was slavery and how the free labor and all of the points that were all the things that were accomplished out of free slavery. Also, there needs to be a portion of that talks about the reparation for the free labor. Also, it needs to be a point talked about as they go forward in time, all of the inventions and how the whites benefited from all of those inventions, all the free labor, all the banking system, all of the infrastructure, all of the farms, all of that needs to be talked about.
Like I said, it's a long video, and she goes in depth into all of that. You just have to. Her name is Nicole Hannah Jones.
I'll check it out, but I also would say they need to talk about the history of Black people when they were in Africa. There was 26 dynasties before Christ. We're talking about before the invention of the Bible. There was 26 dynasties that they never talk about.
Yeah, but we're not in Africa no more, I guess. We're in America. We're here now.
I understand that. What I'm talking about, and that is what you know is how you were rich in how you were rich in self-pride at that point. The pride that you had in the country that you're from.
I agree.
What that does is just seek to improve the idea, the condition of the mindset of who we are and what we deserve.
But we want everybody to know who we are. See, us knowing who we are is just part of the problem. But when you got systemic racism, us know who we are, that won't change.
I agree.
But you still have people still putting laws in place to hold you back.
Rob, that's just like when Irish Americans, Scottish Americans, that's like when French, that's like when the Spanish take pride in the places they're from. That's the past, but they still have a homeland to take pride in.
I don't think y'all really understand what systemic racism is, because y'all other ethnic groups don't people to white people, man. That's just Irish American or white people. Let's just say that.
Well, Robert, we can't say that now because everybody see we getting confused. Race, we have to stop with this race shit because race is just a social construct. All that is something to keep us divided. Now you do have Irish people, you got Asian people, you got Italian people. All those people have a homeland. We the only people don't have a homeland. We don't have a dual citizenship over there in Africa. You can't go to Africa and say, I'm gonna make home base Africa. That's not gonna happen. We have citizenship here in America. This is our birthright. Now,
there you go.
The first fucking damn person, human, 250,000 years ago, came out of Africa. That's a fact. That cannot be denied. But us here now, we have claim to this land. We can't go to Africa and say, hey, I'm going to build a home right here. No, because you don't have citizenship there. So we have to stop with this race, because like my man said when he first got on, I don't know his name, but it's 4 things that divide us as people, not just Black people. I'm talking about as the 99%. There's 1% and there's 99%. It's 4 things that keep us divided. That's race, that's politics, that's religion, and it's money. Those are the 4 things that keep us divided. And they're gonna keep all this stuff to keep us divided. They're gonna push the politics. They're gonna keep you picking a side. They're gonna push the classism. They're gonna keep the rich and the poor. They're gonna promote some people up this way, and they're gonna push down. The middle class is no more. It's no more middle class. It's rich and it's poor.
Make sure you add in education on that too, though. It's 5 of them, because the level of education.
Education, you can put education in there, but what education are we getting? We've been getting a watered down education. We haven't been getting real education. So we're still pulling from their system. They're teaching us they're teaching us the bullshit that they want to teach us. They're not teaching us real shit. I took algebra, calculus, all this shit. I don't use that stuff. So why was I taking it in high school? It's bull crap.
But what I mean by that is education also, with the schools that you're allowed to go to, actually get you better jobs than most. Well,
let me
well,
say let me say something. Let me say something. Block, you're so correct, and we add that. And like you said, Robert, everything he just mentioned, the 5 is systemic racism, because you put people in a box. You put different people in different categories in a box. You draw out on a map. Okay, this bankhead from this part, we're gonna make sure they don't get the special funding. We're gonna make sure this other money don't go over there. Just go over somewhere else. So all what you're saying, Block, they pick out what your education. Just because you have the education inside their box that they drew out on a map, they said that you can't get the funds, the special funds, and then they named this other school over here. They said, well, you get the extra funding. So you're a MACD program. So education, yes, it's systemic. They can narrow that down as keeping you out of the loop of everything else. Now, even though you get the big education that other people, you don't get the same pay. You see what I'm saying, Block? I see what you're saying. But even at the color of your skin, you get the same.
So why he don't get the same pay?
He don't get it because you ain't in that box. You ain't look. It's racism.
Okay, then you said it.
Yeah,
it's systemic racism, man. We're not in position to put ourselves in that position where Block should be.
Rob, what I don't want to get off track with is saying that we should know about our entire history, not just part of it, because what he was alluding to, or Jermaine, right?
Yes.
Yeah, what he was alluding to is everybody knows who they are and where they're from. That don't mean that, and they have rights to dual citizenship. That means they have all rights to things that are accredited to them in another country, not just here.
But see, here's the different, Block. They came on their own. We were forced over here. That's the big difference. They came on top of the ship. We came up under the ship.
I understand that, but my point is the need to know the education or the information that we were cut off from.
You know the story they tell. Well, my parents came over here from England and we built it from our bootstraps. Yeah,
Rob, let me say this. Let me say this to play on what Block said and what Jermaine said. And this is something that you got to do things from the base level. If more of us knew our history, we start to think about ourselves differently. When we leave the U.S., we're looked at as thugs, thieves, pieces of shit, whatever the case may be, because how they portray us.
Ex-slaves.
But if we know who we are, to know that we come from royalty, and that's taught at a very early age, kids start to look at themselves differently, totally differently. But that's not what they do, because like they said, they put us in a box. And if you want to factor in the education system, it's a video that I posted a couple weeks ago. It was a city council meeting or something like that. And it was a dude talking, and it was a cop that was sitting down. And the dude asked him specifically, you work in our city. How many cops live in our city? Because they don't live in that city, that means the taxes that they pay go to where they live, taking the money out of the community that they should be getting. Once again, stifling the community. And it happens like that in every single way. So I know that everybody on this panel right now, we all know what systematic racism is. But I would say this, there's only one person on this panel with her ancestors and her people that can change it. All we can do is take care of what we can take care of. In order for systematic racism to go away, it needs more white people to say, this is some bullshit. I'm sick of this shit. This has to change. And then we might have, it'll never be a level playing field. That's impossible. But if they were to say we sick of it, because mind you, there's no civil rights movement without white people. There's no Barack Obama without white people. Nothing happens without them moving. Because the crazy thing about it is they're split just like we are. They split exactly like we are. That's why they got Republicans and Democrats and libertarians and this, that, whatever. Because believe me, if all of them was on the same page against us, we'd be fucked. Straight up. Some of them actually got hearts. Some of them do, because I'm not saying they do what they need to do, but some of them actually care. That's how the conversation. So that's why I'm glad Ashley is actually on, because she's one of the ones that's willing to listen. But without a group of them, and I'm talking about the power group making certain decisions, ain't shit gonna happen. Absolutely, we could talk till we blue in the face. It don't mean shit, because like I said, they split just like we are.
Well, I agree with you, but that's one of the points that I brought up to Mike a couple of days ago about creating a strategy, having an agenda. I don't know if you guys ever seen Manchurian Candidate or read the book Manchurian Candidate.
Of course.
They've, in other words, once you start to develop your strategy or your agenda, or you create the strategy that's going to put people in place to deal with the issues, we again, that's where we have to unite and create our own strategies and agendas.
Block. Here's the thing. Block. Here's the thing. Right now, I can show you right now. The strategy is in here.
Pull that forward. I already got that book.
The strategy is right here, and it's been here for years.
Great book.
We don't implement it.
He has three other books. He has 3 other books as well to go with that too.
No, he got 4 other books. I got all of them right here. They all right here in the DVD.
So Block, what you're saying sounds all well and good, but I'm a tech guy in background. So this right here is called a USB stick. So if I take this brand new USB stick and I stick it in a computer that's full of viruses, what's going to happen to this USB stick?
It's going to be infected.
It's going to get infected. So you said we need to put people in place that's going to look out for our best interest. When we put people in place in this system, when you rise to a certain place, to a certain status, the part that comes with that is capitulation. When you get to a certain level, you are going to have to capitulate, and that means the issues that matter to the people that put you in those positions is not going to matter no more. So that's the system we're living in. Let me give you just on a smaller scale. Robert, he started out this podcast, and I think this podcast is going to be the biggest thing ever, right? It's going to be a point where somebody. It's going to be a point. And no, it ain't no hope it's going to happen. But it's going to be a point where somebody going to tap Robert on the shoulder and say, hey, we want to take this national. But guess what? Some of those people that you got on your panel, they can't come on because we don't like what they saying.
They gonna pick you up.
So it's going to be, Robert, are you going to take the money, or are you going to stay grassroots and stay with the people? Because that's what you started this thing out with. So that's what I'm getting that money.
I'm getting that money. I'm that joke.
Let me speak to that point, Robert. Let me speak to that point real quick. Man, I agree with you, but if you have not seen the Manchurian slave holders,
I've seen the maturity in Karen. I have.
So you understand that starts from birth. We talking about an incubation or test tube type of situation where you completely condition that person to prepare them to be, and that's not the only one that they did. They took numerous dozens and dozens of kids and started preparing them at adolescence to prepare them to infiltrate. Okay, on the contention that some capitulation happens, then we still have stopgaps. We still have fail safes. That's what you should have on a USB as well, a fail safe or a firewall.
But how many fail safes are we going to have when this person gets to a certain position and he gets that tap on the shoulder? Because Barack got it.
That was a 30-year project.
South Carolina, our governor or representative James Clyburn, he gets it all the damn time. Because his damn county is the poorest in South Carolina, but he sits up on top. I can say. I mean, we can say we're not going to vote our way out of this situation. This is what I tell people all the time. We got to stop putting our faith in these politicians. It's going to have to start with us unifying with each other. It's not going to happen with a politician.
You're gonna have to like Block what we said the other day. Go ahead and say
chop the head off the dragon.
No, man, leverage, man. Come on, man.
That one. What? But Jermaine, what I was about to say, Jermaine, what I was about to say is that's only one particular portion of the plan.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? That's only one. When I said strategize and create an agenda.
Okay.
And when you heard me just say what I just said to him, that's the part. The other part.
All right, okay. Man, you ain't said nothing all night now. I know you got something to say now. You laid back in the cut.
Who, me?
You sleep?
You.
No, I was just listening. I was
in the dark.
Yeah, I mean, I can't hear Block at all. I didn't hear nothing. He said the whole segment. It was just like he was just talking. I didn't hear nothing. I don't even know what he said. It was
really?
cut off. But I'm gonna say this, and this is deep, and I'm gonna be real. If you're wrong, I'm about to come with it. But
come on!
Huh?
Come on, man!
Build it up.
Come on,
okay, let's build it up. We like I'm gonna piggyback off everything. We all came over here differently. Like you said, some of us came on the bottom of the boat, some of us came on the top, some of us came on the top of the boat. And I'll tell you, like it's not it's like I said, once again, it's not a race thing or a racist thing. It's just what was in place when people got here to get what they wanted to earn in America. When the Irish came over, and the Polish came over, and the Scottish came over, and the Italians came over, all these people were treated like trash from the true patriots of America. The Irish were called the green N-word. The Scottish was called the same thing. They had signs that Scottish can't work here. They went through the same systemic racism.
Were they slaves? Were they slaves?
Well, no. Well, slavery was in. Hold on, slavery was all different forms. You had white slaves, but they can buy their way out of slavery. It wasn't
black
the
suit.
same kind of
Black suit.
When slaves
not
got
the same
here,
way, Mike.
the white slaves
You have free blacks.
Right. And you also have free Amish black people in America before slavery was even established when they brought them from different countries from Africa. different countries from Africa. You had the Amish living here, which were black Amish and white Amish. They weren't slaves here in America. The words that they used to create the systemic racism was due to marketing to sell the slave, the man. You had the white man; he was being sold a certain way. The black man's being sold a certain way.
I ain't never seen. Hold on, I ain't never seen a white man being sold. Now.
He was a slave. They had white slaves.
Send me the article, man. I'm talking about in America. In America, there were white slaves in America.
They were called indentured servants. Indentured servants.
They called indentured servants.
Yeah, but they were slaves.
Mike, they couldn't. And Mike, to your point,
in certain years.
To your point, they could. Blacks and whites had to buy their way out differently.
That's what it was. But the thing you have to understand is, when all this happened, especially when everybody landed in New York and these places, and they ran the Irish up to Boston and different places like that, they formed a form of racism towards blacks because everybody knew that when the blacks were free, it was coming. We all had to live and we all had to gather land and places to live and live amongst each other. But we was already treated bad. They say we was the worst. We was the scum of the earth. The Irish was like, look, even though the white patriots don't like us, we still white. We're not gonna deal with the black folks. The Italians, same way. Even though they was treated like pure trash from the patriots of America, but they still felt like, oh, I'm white. I'm still a part of it. We still can link. We still good because we the same color. We still the same color, so we still kind of.
But let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick. They could buy out of slavery and own slaves though.
I can't hear.
Can y'all repeat what
they said? They could buy their way out of slavery, but still own slaves.
You talking about blacks? You talking about black?
I guess he's talking about the white slaves.
I'm talking about whites.
The mythical white slave y'all talking about.
Blacks can't own. Blacks can never own slaves.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Black.
Yes, they did.
The Portuguese.
Oh, you
French,
okay?
Very little.
The Portuguese, the French, and the Spaniards owned slaves. They the ones that brought them here. Everybody was put in different places. That's where the color barrier came in at. Because you had the Negro, which is natural in Spanish is black. You had your white, Blanca, white. You had your different names. And when they was coming from these different places, like where the Niagara River was, that's why that N-word came about, because the slave owner wanted to know where this man came from. What part of Africa? What tribe is he? That's why throughout the years, the words were changed and manifested to something negative and bad. You get what I'm saying?
I agree.
They didn't know they didn't know the geography of where these people coming from. Only the Spaniards were sailors. The regular patriots weren't. White people weren't sailors. The Spaniards were. And they used blacks to sail, to navigate. The Moors. The Moors were very important in history. People just don't realize that. So
we can't. The issue with blanketing statements a lot of times.
Systemic racism. It's like we didn't get the real history. That's the truth. The white people in the school system didn't get the real history, because when you get out of society and get and work amongst people in different businesses and corporate businesses, they are only taught what they are taught in big schools, big corporations, big fraternities. They're gonna say, my dad was a Fortune 500 owner. I don't know nothing about black history or nothing about black people, but they were slaves, and I'm gonna treat them like that when they come into these big corporate jobs. I don't know their history, and we didn't know their history. So what you're gonna get when you get two people that don't know each other's history? You're gonna be like, oh, I know that you're trash. You came over on the ship. I didn't, but you did, because that's why I don't like the word African American. I can't stand that word because I was born in America. I wasn't born in Africa. So if it's the case, if it's that case, if you want to say, well, I'm an African American, so what are white people? Euro American? Because they came over on the ship too. You have to be fair. That's how I feel. You get what I mean? And as long as you have a last name that's a white person's last name, you always going to be under some type of systemic racism, and they always going to have you that way for the rest of your life. If you have a white man last name, you always going to be a part of systemic racism for the rest of your life, because they feel like they can hold you throughout generations.
Well, you got to take it past further past the last name. If you got a social security number, you own by the United States.
There you go.
Well, that's IBM.
Matter of fact, we're owned by England.
Come on now.
To be more specific. But what you're saying, what you were saying, and I agree with what you were saying, but what you're referring to when the status of white came into being was 1677, and that was Beacon's Rebellion. Everybody do research and look up if you don't know.
Yep.
They realized that the whites and the melanated people were combined, and they were together. They was like, hold up, wait, we outnumbered here. We can't do that. So they said, well, y'all white folk, y'all get to do this, and y'all get to look over them and that like that, and they put them in positions of power. So that's where when the Irish came over here, they ended up getting the police. The Italians ended up getting the fire station, the fire department.
That's right.
So that's how they put them in positions of power.
Hey, let me say something real quick. Piggyback what you said. Now, when the black 1816, when the blacks and the white was working over here for the king. All right, so they did an uprising. The blacks and the whites slept in the same huts, same places. All right, they did an uprising and fought for 2 years against the king. And the king said, they said, okay, we can't have this again. Let's separate them. So now we'll say, all right, if a white woman marry a black man, you get your freedom took. So they had to separate the two, where they'll never come to group together. And all these different things we're going through, all these different things the media feeding us to keep us separate. Because if black and white, if we get to move together, and I don't like the term black and white either, but anyway, if we group together and come together, they look at the riots.
And they know that. They know that.
That's so much power that you can't control. You don't have enough policing, enough army, the police, and to secure every state. So I'm just going back what you said. Go, Block.
No, I agree. You still can't hear me, Charisma?
Nope. Charisma, you can't
I
hear
can't
him?
hear Block. I can't hear him. I want to hear him, but I can't.
So when you said African American, I agree with that. But also, we would go take a step further and even talk about being called black. What happened?
Charisma, you probably need to go in and come back out.
We gonna finish this thing off, man, with a solution. What y'all think our solution should be, man? I hear a lot of talk about this thing called reparations. What do y'all think? What do y'all think our reparations should be? If we get reparations, man,
that ain't gonna solve shit. Let's not go. Block, don't say it. Block, do not say it. Block, don't say it.
If there's reparation to be got, what y'all think our reparations should be? I think reparations should be we should have to pay taxes, and then we take that and we put our own tax system in place, and then we buy our own schools, we buy our own hospitals, and we do what we want to do with our own stuff. That's what I think reparations should be. All right, Block. What you think?
You
don't say it. Say something else.
Look, okay. All right. So I have an idea about it's a 5-part situation, man. So reparations, there are companies that are still in existence that are thriving based on slavery. There need to be a percentage of that company given to just reparation altogether. I think there are some institutions that should be dedicated tax-free and also funded freely to educate blacks. We're talking about free education across the board. Let's talk about healthcare. Along the healthcare line, free healthcare should be funded for all blacks. I said free education, free healthcare, free infrastructure. Even right now, there should be. I understand. I know that's a unthought about thought process, but at the end of the day, when you start talking about reparations, even where you are, let's talk about an acre of land when you were promised 40. If your grandparents had gotten 40 or great grandparents gotten 40 acres, you can at least got 5 out of it. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Or it be handed down when we talking about generational wealth.
So, and Block, that's why I say we need to do tax our own self. If we can just be free of taxes and take those taxes and put it to our own, do our own thing with our own taxes, then we can buy our own hospitals. We won't need no free. We don't have to worry about them. See, if we do it your way, they still gonna be running it.
No, not exactly.
If we do it your way, they still gonna run it. That's why we need to have it. We need to run it.
I'm gonna ask you a question, Robert. You said you said we should get out the reparations should be that we shouldn't pay taxes and we shouldn't pay taxes.
And then we tax ourselves. Then the taxes we pay, it goes to us. All of it goes to us.
Rob, so we talking about.
We paying taxes, but it's for us. We're not paying it to. We're not paying it to the American
segregation to me.
No, we're not paying it to the. We gave them enough money. We paid enough. We paid our debt.
Rob, hold on, Rob.
Too. So that means we gotta have our own government. We gotta have our own
Exactly.
And we gotta have people we can trust.
Exactly.
Hey, Ash.
Can we trust them? What happened with us trusting them?
Rob.
What happened to Morris Brown College?
Ashley, say what you just said.
I said that sounded like segregation to me.
We're segregated now, Ashley.
I understand, but I don't think the answer is more segregation.
No, Ashley, we're gonna still live together. We're not leaving, Ashley.
Okay.
So let me go back to what you said, Rob. Let me go back to what you said. It requires a lot of bonds and funds to do infrastructure, period.
That's right.
Now,
that's right, Bluff.
The taxes you're talking about.
If anybody can do it, we can do it. If anybody, we built this whole country. You mean we can't do that?
I'm not taking away from it, but I'm talking about.
gotta buy the equipment for somebody. We got engineers. We got black folks making hospital equipment.
Dude,
So Rob,
we can't even keep Morris Brown open.
It was just, it was an idea, bro. We can take our tax money and pay into our own system. That's the only, to me, I think that's the only thing gonna work. Nothing else will work. I don't think nothing else is possible. But us paying into our own system. If we pay into our own system.
Christ, all things through God is possible. Anything through God is possible.
Yeah, anything through God is possible. And you got to renew your mind. You got to think differently. We got to start thinking differently. God gave us a mind to think.
We get these hospitals. We get black engineers in there, put the equipment in there. We got to have, that stuff is very expensive. So we got to get the money from somewhere.
Dude, we can buy, just because we got our own system don't mean we can't buy stuff from other, we can buy from the Chinese. We can buy from everywhere. It's our money.
Well, we can't buy from the Chinese now because they flooding right now.
So that means they're gonna have to get a cut of something in order for us to get something through there. So,
hey, let me say that. I know y'all.
We're gonna have to cut out the middleman. Meaning we're gonna have to go over there ourselves with our own boats, get our own stuff, and bring it over. Have our own docks, our own bays. We can't just jump. You get what I mean?
Dude, we gonna have money. You can do that with trees. When you got trillions of dollars, you can do that, bro.
But Rob,
all around the world for some ammo for my gun. You know what everybody kept telling me? It's a shortage. It's a shortage. But we don't even make ammo for our guns. We don't own nothing. We only own our own cars. We don't own our own.
I think that's a great topic for next week.
Nothing.
Let me just.
They was lying to me about the shortage of them bullets.
I agree.
I know that.
I agree.
I know they was lying to me because if I bet you if I would change my accent up to talk like somebody like that.
Let me just say this.
Ammo. I'm telling you.
Let me say this. I think to solve the here's what I think to solve the problem. It's a couple steps here.
Okay.
First, you're gonna have to give all the Indian back their land, and think about how you killed them off, and how they sitting on a piece of rock. Because you talking about systemic racism, they damn near got killed out. But do you think about them when you marching?
They're still dying. Do
you think about them when you marching? No, I'm saying no. Listen to me. Y'all talking about how you condition. Black people been conditioned too. We've been conditioned to forget about them too. We need to fight for everybody. Now, here's the resolution to the problem. You're gonna have to burn everything down. I'm sorry. Shit. You gotta burn all of it down.
Whoa, hold up. Whoa. Mike,
I agree.
Mike, hold up. Whoa. That's
I agree with Mike.
Because
I agree with Mike.
I'm a big follower of Russell Means. He's the biggest Native activist in the world. I follow the NFFCA. I donate to the Native American Trust Fund. I give back to I have family that is Native. I have family that's Native. It's in my bloodline. I give back. But listen, check this out. Let me tell you something. All throughout the civil rights movement, everybody was marching with King. It was every type of person, white, gay, Native,
Jewish.
Off the back of that.
That's why we call the Poor People's Campaign.
Everybody.
Jewish.
Everybody.
Yeah.
And you know what? Guess what's funny? Trump talked about the natives today. He talked about giving them funds to help them with. Hold on, I'm just saying what he said. To give them funds to help them with the corona because a lot of them are dying now with the corona. They're dying from alcoholism. Suicide.
Is he talking about giving? Is he talking about giving it to him, or is he gonna give it to him? Is he talking about giving it to him, or he gonna do it?
Well, he said he's gonna do it. He talked about.
Why haven't he did it yet? Why haven't he did it yet?
Don't let look.
He signed executive orders every day.
It's about controlling the narrative. Let's not take this to Trump, please. There ain't no need to. He already getting enough attention. They ain't no need to give him the attention on here.
Amen. Amen.
But long story short, man, charisma. He can fix that with an executive order, like he's doing all the rest of them. That's all he do.
I understand that.
Okay, end the story. He's just talking about it.
We're all on stolen land, which is right. We came over on stolen land, and then they enslaved us on stolen land, and then we're on top of somebody else's land, and we're trying to get shit passed through somebody else's territory.
Okay, so what you think reparations should be? What you think our reparations should be?
You know what? The crazy part, at least the Indians got reparations or got some land.
Well,
everybody
anything.
got reparations except for us.
And
we didn't get anything.
And this is the issue with reparations.
Do we have enough money in the economy to pay everybody that's of 10% of black blood reparations?
Say it again.
So that means you got to even deal with people that's mixed and white people too. Do we have enough money in the economy, in our economy, our budget, to pay anybody with 10% of black melanin in their body?
The corporation.
See now, is this why my plan is the only plan gonna work? That our taxes come to us. Let my taxes come to us.
Hey, I would say I would add charisma.
No,
this
you saying
this will answer your question,
right? Or do we have enough money in our economy to pay each person with 10% black blood in their DNA enough money per family in the economy?
I'm not talking about the government. I wasn't talking about the government, charisma. I was talking about the corporations that have actually triple, double, quadruple, 500 times improved over the last 500 years based off of slavery.
Okay,
and Citibank is one of them. Citibank is one of them.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is where reparations get muddy. This is where the water gets muddy at, because charisma. You say, where's the money gonna come from? Well, we just saw 3 months ago an upward transfer of wealth of $5 trillion to the top 1% with the Heroes Act. That transfer with a stroke of a pen, they spit out $5 trillion for the Heroes Act. So no, they can write the money when they want to. We know this because the Federal Reserve is writing the money. All it's doing is making fucking inflation. And we know how that's going. To end up.
Again, let me say this one more time.
That's a blank note anyway.
Let me say this one more time.
That's an empty note anyway.
They're not going to give everybody, pass out no money to everybody. That's not happening. They're not going to take money from corporations and other companies. They're not going to do that. Our only chance is to tax ourselves. Let our taxes come to us. That's the only thing.
That's not true. They just gave us on the COVID bill.
But why would y'all want that fiat? Why would y'all want that fiat currency anyway? Because once they say the dollar ain't worth shit, which it ain't worth. Once they crash the dollar, then what you gonna have? You gonna have all these damn dollars, and it ain't worth shit. If anything, reparations need to be a plot of land. If a plot of land, here's one step. Give us a plot of land.
It's not gonna happen, bro. That's why y'all talking about far-fetched shit.
But no,
ain't gonna damn happen. Y'all know damn well they ain't gonna. Y'all know damn well they ain't gonna let y'all take no money from the corporation. Y'all know damn well everybody ain't gonna get their own money. Y'all know damn well they ain't gonna give somebody give us Texas. If they give us Texas, that means everybody else gotta leave. Then
they just did it with the COVID. They just did it with the COVID,
dude. What I'm talking about. Calm, y'all not thinking about common sense stuff, man.
Robert, what we're saying is we have to give something. They have to give us something tangible that actually means something. You can barter and trade land. You can't barter and trade a dollar that don't mean shit.
Empty note, empty promise note.
Empty note. Mm-hmm. You can say it's going to go back to a time where you're going to have to barter and trade. That dollar ain't going to be worth shit, so you're going to have something tangible to exchange for goods and services. If you ain't got nothing tangible to exchange for goods and services, you fuck.
So how much land we gonna get?
That's why I was also going to talk about percentages in the infrastructure as well. That's vitally important.
I just don't think y'all making common sense ideas, man. Getting a plot of land. Who gonna own the land?
Let me say this. Why you can't just do what they do? Why you can't do that? We got power. We got people. Listen to me. We got people with money. You know people with money. There's a lot of people with money. Buy your politician, getting them politician to put in place different laws to protect you and create something in your area. Same thing they do. You don't see a bunch of white people in your neighborhood buying up everything in the stores as soon as a mall get built. You run to their neighborhood. Stop. Once you get your politician to invest, the one you pay a strong arm or whatever you want to call it, to do something for your neighborhood. That tripped me out. Like, I never. You're looking for an answer. You know the answer. Everybody know the answer, but you don't trust each other enough. You can't even get together in a group of 100
Bingo.
people. You can't get together. You can't get together in 100 people. I'm gonna say American people in whatever neighborhood you want. Do like they do. They get together and they compromise and they build things. Why you can't get together with your people, compromise and build things? You pay for your politician, where he can go ahead and write the bill that you need for that area, that land, to draw out and do it that way. We dancing around what really need to be happening. Hey,
Wow.
do the same thing they doing.
Well, maybe we can try a lot of different stuff at the same time.
Block, you don't
But
think
again,
they
it
do
ain't
that?
about they.
Wait. Block, you don't
Mike,
think they do that?
Mike, I feel like it ain't
I don't
about
think they do what, Mike? I don't think they come.
It ain't about
I don't think that the white people come together collectively with their money who have generational wealth and buy land and buy infrastructure. Yeah, they do that. Do I think corporations come in and buy land and buy infrastructures, fund people to build their own businesses within our communities? Yes, I do know they do that. Do I think that they allow immigrants or migrants to come into this country tax-free for 10 years and then building our infrastructure? Yeah, they do that, Mike.
But that's not what I'm talking about.
I don't agree with that.
I'm talking about the solution.
That's
the
to
solution
keep us
for
back.
black people. No.
Right now,
I'm talking about the solution for black people. The solution. I ain't talking about what they do for everybody else. I'm talking about for all these city banks, all these not city bank, all these banks that they black-owned banks, all these black millionaires, all these Oprah Winfrey's and Tyler Perry.
Mike, those banks were handed down.
The black-owned banks
those banks are generational.
But that's not what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about what's the solution now.
The solution now, Mike, I'm telling you, in order for us to even get close to building our own infrastructure, creating our own tax base and government, to even do our own educational system, listen, in order for all that to happen, your money not to get caught up in the red tape, you got to be able to govern your own money. You got to be able to buy. You got to be able to fish for your fish.
Let's be realistic. You're not finna build on another government inside here. But I'm saying using what you have.
I wasn't literally saying that. What I was saying, what we needed. In order to manage your own tax base, you're gonna need your own governance.
You shouldn't tell me we can't pay off these politicians like they do. We can't. We can't.
No, because they're still not gonna carry out your agenda. And if we don't have an organized agenda,
if they don't carry out my agenda, then you do like they do. What they do, Block?
Well, you have leverage on them. And the other part of it is they start chopping the head off the dragon.
There you go, Block. Thank you.
He said she'll be he said she'll have a 750 credit score.
Hey, look, somebody gotta get their hands dirty.
Hey, that's the reason why this Generation X. That's the reason why this Generation X need leaders or a strategy or an agenda to point them in the right direction.
So having said all this, man. Having said all this, one thing I see now, we ain't even gonna come together enough to figure out what we want. In order to get reparation, we gotta have a consensus ourselves of what we want. Everybody got a different idea. It's true. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you.
I think they're the same ideas, Robert. Money was the baseline.
But how we gonna go to the table? How we gonna go to the table without a plan? We got to have a plan. We don't have a plan. We need to stop talking about reparation without a plan first.
I gave you 5 parts to the plan.
Well, your plan ain't gonna work.
Well, we spend listen.
Mike, who you got with you?
This is my best friend. This is my daughter.
I'm finna say that ain't Gwen.
It's Lil Gwen.
What's up, niece?
Hey, now what you think? Ask her what you think about systemic racism. What you think about systemic racism? Since you're all on the screen and all that now.
I'm just waving.
Oh, okay.
Bagged out quick, man.
Okay, y'all. We gonna do a final parting shot. Everybody take their turn and say their little shot, man, and sign off, man. Start with
Hey Rob, Charisma, he didn't get the chance to finish. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I think I got a lot of different ways I think we should do reparations. I feel it's a plan. I think that every male, especially man of color in prison, should get another chance. All his records should be eradicated. He should be able to start over.
All of them? No, dog, not all of them dudes, man. No.
Listen. You're not getting it. These things should be in place where they can feel that they are back human again, man, without having something on them all the time. A boulder. This thing gonna be on them for the rest of their life. They'll never get out of society and feel that they're making things of themselves with this on them forever, bro. On their back. That can help uplift people, and then they can push them to the right direction to move things forward as far as our own economy and building and doing things like that. A lot of people that's in prison are very smart. You got architects in prison. You got barbers. You got guys that cut hair. You got guys that probably were dentists. All kind of different things. Did insurance. They probably did some illegal things dealing with computers. A lot of different things. So if you take these things and change their mentality and let them be free and everything.
Your mic got some distortion in it, man. That's why I mute you while he talking. Something.
Who, me?
Yeah, man. That's a good idea, man. But that don't do nothing for all of us as a people, man. Come on, man.
No, I'm saying I'm saying that's one form of reparations I think we should have. You said what we should get. That's one form, I think. One form. Then we should get the money every month. Like the people I know that get reparated every month. They get reparated every month. The natives, I know native people that get reparated. They get like I think
how much they get?
I think it's either 6,000 or 3,000 every 2 months.
Then who gonna work?
What do you mean who gonna work?
Who gonna work? You give me $6,000 a month. I'm not working.
Well, she still works. She still works.
I'm just saying, if I get $3,000 a month, I'm not going to work, dude.
I said not I didn't say every month.
See, we need a plan. You know what I'm saying? We need a plan because that's the first thing they're gonna say. Then if we give you that money, you ain't gonna go to work. You see how they come to
I mean, it was well deserved. I mean, it was their land. It got stolen. I mean, what do you expect? I mean, that's like me coming to your house, eating your food, doing whatever I want to do, and you sitting there like, and you can't do nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna set up here. My car gonna be parked in your driveway. I'm gonna use your phone. I'm gonna use your tub. I'm gonna sleep in your bed. You sleep downstairs. I'm gonna go and use your car. I'm gonna just do everything. I'm gonna walk in with my dirty, muddy boots. I'm gonna just whatever.
No, cause I'll stop your ass at the front door.
See,
Thanksgiving.
See your mentality? Oh, I'm gonna stop you.
I'm gonna stop you at the door. You already telling me what you're gonna do.
Now you sound like Kanye.
Hey, but look, let's do it. We running late, y'all. Let's do a parting shot, man. Stemming racism. You know what I'm saying? It's been good. It's been nice. It's been nice. Somebody, y'all say what y'all want to say, man. And we're going to get up out of here till next week, man. It's been good. It's been good. Go ahead. We're going to start with you, Ashley, because you've been quiet.
I have. I'm not sure what to say without opening up another hour.
No, we don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a deeper conversation in my mind, you know, just to spill out a 5-minute solution.
You think it's hope for America, for black man in America?
Do I think that there's hope?
Honestly.
Come on,
yeah,
Ashley.
do you think it's hope?
I think that certain individuals have proven, you know, that barrier can be broke. Not barriers, but you know, there's certain people. I mean, whether they're in sports or entertainment. I mean, there's that. But as a, you know, I know you're asking as a whole though. So.
We ain't gonna put too much pressure on you now. We want you to keep coming back.
I mean, you know, I'm just saying, look at Michael Jackson, for example. He
He started out black, but he ended up white.
I mean,
No, but I'm saying, but he was, you know, he did a lot of stuff.
As long as we can entertain, they'll let us break through. So if we can shoot a basketball, run a football, dance, sing, rap, they'll let us break through.
It's not so much that. I mean, you know, some points were made earlier that involved education and whatnot that I'm, you know, but because I know we're wrapping up. But like I said, because it's a much deeper conversation is all.
All right, Mike, go ahead, Mike.
Let me just say, need to stop talking and pick up a torch and put something together, man. There's a whole lot of talking. I mean, need to just put some stuff in action, period.
All right, Jermaine, what you got?
I'm gonna piggyback off of what Mike said. Yeah, I think this is a good start. This is a good platform for us to come together and have divergent conversations, because everybody is not in agreement, but we're doing it in a civil way. But I will say one thing: we're not gonna pass by and act like the Native Americans did not own slaves. And I'm just gonna leave that right there. That's my part in shot.
They did.
All right, Block. All right, Block.
They did.
We ain't finna get deep in. Wait, hey, hold on, no, wait. We ain't finna go down.
I mean, I can name them.
Hey, that was his part of the shot. You should have.
Hold up. It was a different form of slavery with them, because they stayed on the reservation. Everybody, they ate together, they cultivated, and it was just a different form. It was only work. It wasn't like they couldn't leave and go as they pleased. They wasn't under the chain and whip. It was different. That is true. All right,
well, that's your pawn shot. Your time, Block.
That's true. You're right. Exactly right.
Let's go, Block.
Black folks had slaves too. And that's true.
Slaves couldn't have slaves. Free slaves couldn't own slaves. You know that, right, Chris?
Some of them did.
No.
Yeah, so did. Some of them did, Block. Some of them owned slaves. I'm telling you.
Escaped slaves?
Some of them owned slaves.
They weren't slaves. They weren't slaves. Slaves that was owning slaves.
Yeah.
You had free black men that wasn't slaves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up north.
Slaves. Now we talking about freed slaves.
You keep using the word slave. You keep using the word slave, Block, saying slaves on the slaves. These were free men.
Free black men. Free black men.
Yeah,
okay.
Free men of color.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Free men of color.
Well, I won't get. Then I've been misinformed. I won't get off on that one. So honestly, I really think that, you know, as I said before, we got to unite. We got to create a strategy and an agenda. We definitely need to talk further about reparations.
Yes, Block.
And also, I think we definitely need to continue open forums like this. And then we need to bring in outside people so that we can get different opinions and different perspectives. Education on all of this and all the information that we just passed on. We need to actually find a way or have a library created or some type of even televised situation where we're promoting this information so people understand and don't have blanketed generalizations.
Share it on Facebook.
Sometimes misinformation is one of the other biggest divisions that there is. If we continue to get the wrong information, then we're going to continue to be separate because we don't know the facts or we don't know the truth. And then if we continue to promote the misinformation, especially among each other, and we create the argument as opposed to coming to some type of agreement, then we're going to miss out on the opportunity to better this situation all the way around, and especially for Black people. I mean, I'm saying especially for Black people, but I'm saying for the whole.
All right, J Fix, take us home, baby.
First and foremost, for everybody on here, especially, I'm not gonna say especially, but also Ashley, you need to go online and buy the series of these Hidden Colors 1 through 5, so that most people who don't know their history can see all of them, can see their history or whatever, I got all 5 DVDs. This is first off. It's a nice starting point for people to be like, oh shit, I didn't know that. I didn't know that either. I didn't know that. Then go online to Dr. Claus Anderson's website and buy all 5 of these books. And it comes with the DVD. Watch all of them. Now, mind you, Dr. Claude Anderson breaks down reparations. Everything, all the information, all the structure that we have is there. But most people don't know that it's there. Mind you, if you open up your mind to what's already right there, we're straight. But most people don't. And I think next week, the topic should be reparations. Make it as general as possible so people can start bringing up their points of what they want, and then you can come to a consensus. And you're going to hear all types of things. Once you hear that, then you can really have a discussion. Because we different people. But once we start getting good ideas, that's what it is. But I'll make sure that I find the information in those books about reparations, and I'll show you that too. That's what I'm saying. Go online. I think this was like $90 for all 5 DVDs. The series of the books, $111. It'll be the best $200 that you spend because you got concrete evidence in your face exactly what it is. Ain't no, it's convoluted. Nah, it's right there in your face and it's fact. And the great thing about this is it shows you what was going on pre-slavery.
I think the key points from everyone was education.
Yeah. Hey,
all right, y'all.
Hey, that's real quick, y'all. That's where a lot of my points came from, was from the books with Dr. Clark Anderson. Some of the reparational points are in those books. The Hidden Colors is a great series of documentaries. You got well-known authorities speaking about Black history and our ongoing history. So great point for Quan, right?
Yeah.
Great point, bro. Great points.
Well, all right, y'all. We kind of running late, man. But look, go ahead.
Let me say one thing. Look. This is off topic, but one of y'all sound like Darth Vader.
I believe that.
Hey, wait a minute. Wait. Let me add one more book. Add
it.
The
Holy Bible.
The book is
the Holy Bible.
Hell no.
There is a book that's called The Holy Lockdown you might need to read, but that's a good book as well. The one I want to talk about is the incarcerate. It's the book by God dog it, y'all. I'm sorry, it escaped my mind.
You talk about the Jim Crow book, the Jim Crow law, the Jim Crow law book by that chick?
The new Jim Crow.
Yeah,
that's a great book. Grab that one as well.
Now we ain't finished starting no book, and we ain't finished starting no book. This ain't an Oprah Winfrey show. We ain't starting no book club, guys.
Yes, we should. The right book. You damn. Yes, we should.
Oh, you think so? We'll do it then.
Yeah,
we'll do it.
Yeah,
We'll do it. Cause hey, this is a people show. Y'all make up the topic. You know what I'm saying?
I got an idea about those.
You want to do some fitness, Mike? Mike, you want to do some fitness?
I'm talking about I look good at 52.
I look good at 51.
Yeah, you got your glasses on.
All right, y'all. Hey man, but look, man. I appreciate y'all coming on here, man. This is Overflow, the Everyday People Show. This is come to chop it up, man.
Big Block, you swole it all up, Big Block.
Hey, call me the Dragon Slayer.
What? I ain't asked you what?
Call me the Dragon Slayer.
Hey, Robert. Big Block.
I'm gonna cut all y'all on.
Block swole up like football practice. Hey, remember football practice? Block swole it all up. All big and luscious.
Hey man, we finna sign off, man. Hey, Ashley, I appreciate you so much for coming on here.
All right, Ashley.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you. Don't take what we say to hard. You know what I'm saying? Block, I appreciate you, man. Charisma.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate it.
Also, hey, we gotta catch up, bro.
Yeah,
real tailgaters. Real tail. Oh, Block, you know him, Block.
No, we know each other now. We gonna get to know each other better.
They're gonna be a long conversation right now, boy.
Yeah.
All right, so
Hey, Mike, appreciate it, man.
all right, man.
All right, y'all. I'll let y'all. See y'all next week. Same black channel, same black time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Peace. Peace.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. So I want to thank everybody who's tuned in, listened in, chimed in. I thank y'all so much for tuning in to the show. I see y'all next week at 7:00 Tuesday. Until then, just remember, no matter what happened, we got love. That's all we need. Check your boy out.
Love is a word that we all use most of the time. Love gets abused, but we should have faith in love. But love won't fall. Love died for us all. Love cannot end. It was there from the start. Love needs a home. Let love in your heart. See, this love is real. Something you can feel from the heavens above. 'Cause God is love. We got love, and that's all we need to get through our pain, our insecurities. Love conquers all, that much we know. Love is the same no matter where you go. Love is patience, patience and kind. Love won't choose sides. Love is colorblind. Love won't envy. Love won't boast. Love is that blanket that covers the most. Love is not arrogant. Love is not rude. Love will win. Love could never lose. Love is needed to bring better days. And if you need love, it's just a prayer away. So we got love. We got love. That's all we need. Through our pain, our insecurity. Love conquers all, and that much we know. Love is the same no matter where you go. We got love, and that's all we need to get through our pain, our insecurities. Love conquers all, that much we know. Love won't change. We got love, and that's all we need to get through our pain, our insecurities. Love conquers all, that much we know. Love is the same no matter where you go. We got love, that's all we need to get through our pain, our insecurities. Love conquers all, that much we know. Love is the same no matter where you go.
Now we got to get this thing right. What is needed is a realization that power without love is reckless and abusive, and that love without power is sentimental and anemic. Power at its best. Power at its best is love, implementing the demands of justice, and justice at its best is love correcting everything that stands against love.